Hey, welcome to the conversation. I'm Andy Mason, and you are listening to the Heaven and Business podcast from the road. So, over the last few weeks, we have been doing updates for you from around the world as we do a working sabbatical. Sounds like an oxymoron. It's a crazy, fun experiment of learning sabbatical, learning to lean into the voice of God, and also doing a series of different activities, events, connecting with family and friends in New Zealand at the moment, and then we go to Australia, Malaysia, Singapore, and Japan, arriving home in the States, Tennessee, New Zealand, Tennessee. Well, I'm not even sure where I am. And back into Tennessee, that's Nashville, back into our new home, which is currently getting painted, carpeted, and it's pretty exciting. And hopefully the power is on. So, where am I right now? And if you want to go back over the last few weeks, you'll hear some of the story. And really, what I'm trying to highlight is what we are doing, what we are observing, and then what we are learning. And to be really candid, I'm the one I think that's learning the most out of this, forcing myself to slow down and actually reflect on what did I do? What did I learn? What did I observe? Actually going through that little process is really, really helpful for me. And I'm going to highlight one of the key things really that's going to come out of this episode is how so many of us are muchos occupado. That's like overly busy. We get so busy, so occupied, so focused on accomplishing that we don't pay attention to what we're learning in the process, or we forget why we are doing it. So where am I? I'm right now in West Melton, Christchurch. It's about maybe 30 minutes out of Christchurch, which is a city in the South Island of New Zealand. And today we get to go with family, with friends, to the South Island Field Days. That's New Zealand is a big agricultural. New Zealand's like one big ranch, one big farm with a bunch of tourists and people thrown in, like 5 million people. But there's something like 30 million sheep, maybe 15, 20 million cows, and lots of wheat, barley, oats, apples, vineyards. It is stunningly beautiful. So what have we been doing for the last week? Well, I was in Queenstown. Actually, I was further south in Queenstown. I was with my brother and we hiked the Routeburn Track. It crossed two national parks, the Aspiring National Park and the Fiordland National Park. And if you want to see some of those photos, jump onto my Instagram. I'm sure on the Instagram feed, Andy Mason, you'll find that there. You see some of the reels. That just does not capture it. The stunning beauty of creation is just phenomenal. So we took 3 days, 2 nights in huts, and we hiked about 20 miles, 35 kilometers. And it was hard work, stunningly beautiful, and just overwhelmingly good. So we got to do that, have great conversations along the way. And the contrast of different scenery as we start through the bush, then get above the skyline, and then just changing mountain ranges. It's just incredible. Little highlights, the birds, they're called mountain robins. They are so friendly. They'll stop, they'll hop on your boot if you stand still, and then peck your legs trying to get some kind of food, I'm sure. It's stunningly beautiful. The noise and the song of those birds coming back down into Lake Mac something or other, Lake McKin, something like that. Beautiful hut, but the scenery, you've got these woods that looks like you're walking through the Lord of the Rings movie. Literally, this moss-covered trees that are ancient, rugged, and stunningly beautiful. And then walking through these waterfalls. One quick lesson out of that is don't hold your camera filming as you're walking towards a waterfall over boulders. You will fall over. You got a reel of that where literally I go smack forward because I slip on a rock. I got a gash on my knee. Kind of epic as you're walking out and there's blood falling, coming down your leg. But yeah, this is, Andy, the things you don't do. What else did we do? We then went from that trip to a 3-day adventure retreat in Queenstown. So destination location, Queenstown is the world capital of adventure. Beautiful, stunning in the South Island of New Zealand. We had 19 business people. We had about 6 couples from the States, 1 couple from Singapore, and about 5 individuals from across New Zealand that joined us for that. And the ones from the States came from Tennessee, California, Arizona, Alaska, and Texas. 2 from Tennessee. It was incredible. First day, just taking time to be still, focus. We put them in groups to prophesy and pray over one another. Then we go on the Ern's Law. It's an ancient vessel from about 1912. Still a coal-powered steamship, crosses the lake, and then we have dinner in this old homestead. It was amazing. Second day, we went up the gondola. We got to get access to the director's room, which is, just imagine, massive windows overlooking a lake and epic scenery, the remarkable range of mountains. And up there we did masterminds in groups, had lunch together, and then did the luge, which is like competing, racing these little carts down a hill. Again, stunning scenery. Then evening, more food, lots of ice cream, highlighted and punctuated everything here. And then the third day, we drove 45 minutes to Glenorchy and hopped in a jet boats and went up like an hour up the Dart River. It's like into the scenery, into the wild. It is incredible. Again, there's movies, the Lord of the Rings, a movie called Vertical Limit got filmed there. And apparently the story goes that Taylor Swift filmed her Into the Woods by one of these trees in this little bush area, which is kind of hilarious and nothing that I'm fascinated, interested by at all. But it was phenomenal, cruising up, the scenery, the fun, the learning. And we came back again, more time to connect, do another mastermind at Mrs. Woolies in Glenorchy. Shout out to their food, was just brilliant. Came back, summarized it. I'm now in Christchurch, staying with my wife's family. Her brother and sister-in-law live here. And then today we get to go to the field days and learn about halter collars. These collars, it's like, imagine Apple Watch around a neck for a cow. Imagine fenceless farms where this is recording all of the health needs. It's calling the cow when it's time to milk the cow. Crazy stuff going on. Plus lots of tractors, fencing competitions, lots of mud, and I'm sure there's going to be fun time had by all. So what am I observing? Well, it's fascinating little observations that you get to observe. One, again, the beauty of this nation is phenomenal. All your get down here to New Zealand. It is stunningly beautiful. And when God made the world, he said, it is good. And then I think he just put a dot on it when he created New Zealand. It is stunningly beautiful, and it's so packed in and condensed into such a short, small country. It is amazing. The flip side of that is it's a short, small country, and we tend to be limited by the environments that we are in. We have to get outside of your box, your grid, your circle of people. Get outside, get to a conference, get to an event, listen to a podcast. Don't watch the news, because that never creates bigger thinking. It always creates smaller thinking. But actually, maybe it's Discovery Channel. Do something to get outside of your box, your grid, your concept. Don't bury yourself in an echo chamber or just surrounded by people that are just like you. I'm watching people do that because it's so easy and it's comfortable. But don't do it, because you'll just limit and you'll reduce yourself to the environment that's immediately around you, which is usually you. So expose yourself, connect yourself to people bigger than you. What else do we observe? Fascinating. New Zealand tourist industry is populated by foreigners. Hilarious. So everywhere we go, it's people from Scotland, France, Brazil that are the hosts at the hotels, at the tourist venues. Classic case of, we go to this farm homestead. It's a historic farm in Queenstown. Beautiful trip over there. And then they do a farm demonstration. Now, farming is such a core part of New Zealand. My background in New Zealand is in farming, agriculture, shearing sheep, building fences, feeding out bales of hay, all of those sorts of things. And there's a farm demonstration with dogs. Guess what? It was done by a foreigner. Now, no offense to the person, but they're from Wales. not from New Zealand. So you've got a Welshman doing a demonstration of New Zealand farming. Hello, New Zealand, something is wrong. Contrast that with Dart River jet boat. And we had this guy, Dean, shout out to you. He was our driver, and it was hilarious. New Zealander who'd been in Australia for a while and seen the light, come back to New Zealand, and the accent, the beauty of that is putting the country on display. If you've got a foreign accent trying to display one country, it just doesn't work. So, little observation, but quite interesting. What else have we observed? Uh, Probably this turns into what am I learning? One of the things is, what do we do for 3 days? We do an adventure retreat. People pay to come all over the world to what we're doing, to what we facilitate, and then thank us for it. And I feel incredibly humbled and delighted to be able to do this and privileged. At the same time, I'm thinking this is not rocket science. There's nothing stopping you doing this. And it's this key. I learned it even as we were hiking, is why are we hiking? I grew up so focused on the accomplishment. How fast can I get to the destination? And I miss so much along the way because I don't have a real goal in mind. The goal is accomplishment. No, the goal is way, way bigger than that. If this was about accomplishment, someone bigger, better, faster, stronger would do this ahead of you. And that's what happens. The goal is not accomplishment. The goal is connection. The goal is relationship. The goal is experiencing the beauty of what God's given us. So what have I got to do? I've got to slow myself down and remind myself, why am I doing this? What's the intended outcome? And how do I keep that the focus so I don't get distracted with accomplishment or just achieving something as fast as possible and missing the beauty around me, the people around me, the opportunities all around me, the experiences all around me. So we get to go up the gondola in Queenstown. We sit there for maybe 30, 40 minutes watching these paragliders jump off the side of a hill. Just being still and experiencing, watching and observing and learning. Maybe I'm getting old. Is it because I'm 50 now? I'm starting to pay attention. I don't know. But perhaps if I did this earlier, I remember being in Redding, California. I love mountain biking. And so one particular day, I've given myself 2 hours. I've told my wife I'm going to be gone for 2 hours. I want to go up a particular track, up Belly. It's called Belly something in Redding, out in the hills. I'm going up this trail. I get halfway up. I'm realizing there is no way that I have the energy or the time to get to the top within the time frame that I've told my wife. And so I'm frustrated. I'm not going to achieve the goal. And then I start to think, this was probably, maybe for you, this is much earlier, but for me, I suddenly realize, hang on a moment, why am I doing this? Am I doing it to get to the top of the mountain? I would love to do that, but I'm not going to do that. What's the real reason? The real reason is when I get out and about in nature with a good bit of sweat and effort, it refreshes me. It restores my soul. So I literally grabbed my bike, threw it off the side of the trail, not down some cliff, but off the side of the trail, and sat there for 10 minutes. And suddenly I start to become aware of different sounds, different noises, different sights. It's like a friend of ours on this trip, Pastor Alistair from, what is it? He's from Geraldine, New Zealand. Just a great thought. He says, notice what you notice when you're hearing the Lord. When you pause and be still, what do you notice? What do you see? What do you hear? What do you sense? What do you know? Notice what you're noticing, because most of us don't notice what we're noticing because we're so busy or preoccupied or distracted by an accomplishment or an achieving or a transaction. The truth is, transactions come and go, but people and experiences are forever. So keep your mind on what is important. So what is your goal? What is the real goal? What is the most important thing? Keep that priority in mind as you're going about what you're doing. Another one was learning and observation and learning. Is so many of us don't do this because we get so busy. We get preoccupied with busy. Stop it. Slow down. Psalm 46:10. Be still and know God. When I'm stopped, pause And the simple ways of doing that, thanking sets my affection and heart on God. Being still and actually silence sets my heart and affection on God. We did that in Mrs. Wooley's. It's a public area. We've got 18 business people at 3 tables, surrounded by others kind of on the fringes who were just random people, happen to be in the same room. And we're doing a mastermind. And one of the things we do is we stop, we pause, and we'll either do thanking, or we'll read a scripture, or we could sing, or we could pray in tongues, or we could do so many different things that set our heart and affection on God. And this kind, in the public setting, let's just do silence. 30 seconds of silence. And so you can imagine lots of noise and conversation. Suddenly there's silence. And we just pause and set our heart and affection on God. Next thing, other people in the room are like looking around, what's going on? And then it's almost like everybody in the room started to bow their heads. Why? Because our joint agreement to set our heart and affection on God just caused an awareness of the presence of God to increase, like a sovereign or sacred moment. And others, not even knowing what's on God, they kind of align to it, stop their conversation, whatever they're talking about. How does that happen? You can do that anywhere. Is that be still and go, set your heart and affection on God, and let's see what happens. And then we jump into what we're doing. So number one was, are you too busy to do this? No, actually pay attention. Pause, slow yourself down, set your priorities, set your vision, set your focus, and align what you're doing, and keep that in mind as you're going about it. And number two was, small decisions done consistently over time have significant impact. As we're meeting people, seeing people, observing lives, and really reflecting on our own life, I'm humbled, grateful, and kind of in awe of some of the things that we've gotten to do, and the grace of God that's kept us from some stupid stuff. Psalm 139, you go before me and you prepare the way, you go behind me and protect me from my stupid mistakes. The amount of time that God has protected us. But over time, these little decisions that we've made that are starting to pay off big time now, that is what's profound. And then saying, why cannot everybody do this? Well, a lot of people don't, because they don't see the immediate fruit of the decisions that you make on a day-to-day basis. It's like, if I want to lose weight, it's small, consistent things done daily, of not eating that second or third ice cream, Jonathan. Or it's that little exercise done daily. Over time, it compounds. Well, the absence of making those decisions actually has an effect. And then the opposite, the actually eating negative, thinking negative, behaving negative, avoiding doing the things that we know we could be doing, being paralyzed by so much all around us, not having around us people that can reinforce healthy decisions, not having our lives anchored in the word with eternity in mind, and not being given over to a life of perseverance, which is required even in the midst of suffering, adversity, and difficulty. How do you do that? Well, I've got to have this commitment to myself. Proverbs says they failed for the lack of discipline. That's these small decisions done consistently over time. It's about intentionality, and it's so important. And I'm seeing that either pay off for good or for bad. People are still sitting in the same stuff because we harbor this negative talk, trash talk or head trash. No, let's clean it up. How do I do that? I've got to surround myself with other people that are going that direction. Surround myself with people bigger than me or going the direction. Limit the time and attention that I'll give myself to toxic conversations or toxic people that continually draw me back or down from where I know I'm supposed to be. But it starts with you making that decision and making no excuse. Divorce yourself from every excuse and saying, I will lean in, and I choose to no longer harbor any thought about me that is not God's thoughts towards me. I'm not overthinking myself. I will just do that. Just hold myself to what God says about me. You'll be amazed what happens over time, but give yourself, commit to the long term. This is not a sprint. It's not a marathon. It's an ultra marathon. So what I do on a daily basis is really, really important. It builds me towards the future or away from it. So that became very, very apparent. And then the third thing as I open up my Remarkable again, is talking to different people. It's phenomenal, the stories that we get in the room when we get 18, 19 business people from around the world together. It's so fun watching them just let go and have conversations, and now we can't stop them. That's a success. But suffering will shape you. And actually, suffering is inevitable. It doesn't matter who you are. The only way you're not going to suffer is if you reduce yourself to the size of a cardboard can. Suffering happens. You're part of humanity. Humanity is broken without Jesus. So you're going to experience that. Nature happens. We're in process of God restoring all things. We are not there yet. So we're in process. And you're being formed and forged into the image and likeness of Christ. Suffering will happen. He said it's going to happen. Suffering, some of it we do to ourselves. And sometimes it's just life around us. And sometimes it's evil forces. I think often it's a lot less evil forces, a lot less what we do to ourselves, and just the nature of being in society where there's all sorts of weird stuff going on. Well, what are you going to do? Suffering will shape you. And I get to choose whether that will shape me into something good. Remember the Lord who uses all things and turns all things together for good for those that love him and are called according to his purposes. That's you. If you're listening to this, it's likely to be you. But don't draw back, hold back, or change the subject, because that will sabotage you. It's like you're building towards a certain health goal, and the last week you change and just stuff yourself full of donuts. Don't do it. Hold the course, because he is not slow at keeping his promises, as some understand, but he's watchful, not wanting that any should perish. That's in Peter, the book of Peter. You read that. God works all things together for good. Hebrews says, we are not of those who draw back to destruction, but those who believe to the saving of the soul. Other scripture says, you have need of perseverance. Having endured all, you will win or receive the prize. What's the point? Suffering will shape you. It can shape me into a bitter, twisted old man, focused on some conspiracy or scheme, or distracted from my calling. Or suffering will shape me because I keep Jesus at the center rather than myself or my comfort. I surround myself with people going the same direction. Many people, and not all that agree with me. If I find myself in an echo chamber of everyone saying yes, jump out, because you're possibly in the wrong group. Just remember, the disciples were so different. We got Matthew, a tax collector, a traitor, and we got Simon the zealot. They would kill each other, and yet Jesus includes them in the same group. It's so important to have people different to me, but going to the same direction, committed to the same cause, life that partners with God in all things. So allow that suffering to shape you, make it count, allow God to work it in, persevere, surround yourself with what is good, anchor yourself in the word of God, and let's continue to grow. So endurance, community, don't isolate yourself. If you find yourself alone, change it. And then no excuses. I'm having fun. I'm looking forward to going to the field days this afternoon. Check out the Facebook, Heaven and Business, Andy on Instagram somewhere, something like that. I'll try and post some pictures. It's super fun. Having a great time. We're heading from here back up, hunting red stag in the Mohaka Valley on some farmland up there next weekend. So maybe there's some good news from there. Some family and friends are looking forward to some venison steaks. And then we head to the Gold Coast with Matt Flegler. There's still room for you. If you want to jump in on that, jump onto the heaveninbusiness.com/events page. You'll see that. Then Glory City Church in Brisbane, the Sunday service. That's about the 6th of April. Then we head to Kuala Lumpur for a few days. We've got a one-day drop into Singapore. There's room for you to join us for lunch. There's about 25 people signed up already for that. And then we go to Japan, and let's see what God is doing in Japan from about the 12th to the 15th, and we head home. We're having fun. This is crazy. The life that we get, you get to make it with God. No excuses. Let's go big and then go home. Have a great week.